speed of work, get more done, unlock more time, more money, and more freedom.
Join us as we explore the challenges and power of making work visible. Welcome to the Visible Workplace Podcast with Dr. Tom Raleigh.
Now, let's get into today's episode.
All right, let's jump in for today's episode of The Visible Workplace. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to be looking at a very interesting topic, which is how do we leverage AI in project management? Perhaps not off the bat the most exciting, but I want you to consider that you have one of the most powerful team members that you have ever had access to for around perhaps $20 a month. Of course, this is the price of ChatGPT for Omni or 4.0, but how are we going to use that? You see, when I first came across AI, it was astounding. It's incredible, and it still is. It does things so fast. It does things largely very well, apart from some hallucinations and some errors. But overall, this is a very powerful tool. And what it did, if you go back a little bit before AI, you'll probably remember that the metaverse was the thing. So much so that Facebook even changed their business name, but AI came along and washed away any thoughts of that, and it's come to dominate our reality. And we're still only 18 months in. So this is a very exciting time, but at the moment, it seems like most people are getting results, but it's certainly not an optimized usage of these tools. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to do that. How do we integrate AI into our team, into our project management to get better results and get better production using these tools? So look, what I'm seeing at the moment is that most people use these AIs sporadically. They have a moment of inspiration, they take it to ChatGPT, or they have a moment of, oh, I wonder what would happen if, and they go to the AIs. But there's not a lot of consistent usage where people are going through as part of their workflow of step, use the AI, use the AI, step. And this comes back to our essential problem that we've been dealing with in the visible workplace is that it's typically difficult to see what's going on in a business. It's in people's heads. It's partially documented over here. It's partially documented over there. It's out of date in that third place. No one really knows how we do things and what we're trying to get. So adding in AI and doing these things faster doesn't really help, because that underlying problem of when do we use the AI and how do we use the AI and how do we improve these prompts and how do we make sure they get used every time, not really getting dealt with. We're not seeing the AIs being used in their greater context, which is, hey, what's the results that I want and where does the AI fit within that? If you've read The Goal by Eli Elfrat, I'm pretty sure, but I didn't get that right. That's not good. But they have bought very fast machines, and then they're wondering why they don't see an increased production, and instead what they see is a backlog of materials in the machine after the really fast one. Doesn't make any difference. Why? Because they're not seeing the overall context of production. And what we have here with AI is some extremely fast machines, but if the entire production line isn't seen in context, then it gets that one piece done very quickly, but the overall results are not what you might expect. And this is being brought to the marketplace right now. They're like, hey, we have dropped billions and billions and billions of dollars into capital investments with AI, and yet the revenues and the increased production, it's not so much. What's going on? Well, this is the problem, that if we can do one piece really fast, but everything else is still slow, you're not going to see really fast production. You see, if you can write your copy in 12 minutes with the AI instead of it taking 3 hours, but that copy never ends up on your website or never gets posted to your socials or never gets run as an ad, what's the point? You've wasted that effort, even though the AIs did that work really quickly. 12 minutes instead of 3 hours, but if it never got up, what's the point? This is what you're dealing with. And I want you to immediately see something, that you can have ChatGPT sitting there doing nothing or typing away on prompts that you're putting in, but if it never ends up in the physical realm or the virtual realm of being done, what's the point? It's like paying somebody to do a whole lot of work that never gets launched. You'd be better off saying, you know what, we're not going to do that. Let's just not do that. Save all the time and effort. And if it's not up and running, then what's the point? So we've got this problem with AIs. We've also got other issues. Are we using random prompts? You're just typing in the best that you can. And yet people are discovering how to get better results. But do you know how to do that? Are you learning how to do the prompts? Have you experimented with the prompts? Have you bought prompt products? I have, but they didn't actually get used, which is embarrassing to say because I spent the money and I never put them into the AI. Same problem. If the prompts are bought, the product's bought, but it doesn't get in the AI, no good. If the prompt goes into the AI, but doesn't get in the final result, no good. This is all project management. There's one more, that we've used it once. We got good results and then we lost it. It didn't get captured. It didn't get tracked for use in the future. Same problem as we're dealing with project management in general, but now we've added in this AI concept with the hope that everything's suddenly magically going to work, but it doesn't. Unless you're already good at project management in the first place. Then we've got an opportunity. Then we've got something that is exciting. You see, if you could leverage the power of AI and make sure that not only did the results get into the world and put into the ad or put into the funnel or put into the product, but also you were able to capture the prompts and where it worked really well so that next time you came to do that same work, it was available. It was there. You didn't have to wonder what the prompts were. You didn't have to go back to the product and look them up again. They were there because when you ran the workflow, all of the prompts from last time were captured. So how does this actually work? So interesting situation. So I already had a workflow that works. I call it list offer magic. Essentially what it does is builds the offer, it builds the funnel, and it builds the emails that go out to my list and advertise the funnel and says, hey, do you like this offer? Do you want to buy this offer? Just having the offer, not so good. No one knows about it. Just even having the offer in the funnel, not so good. No one knows about it. Having the offer, having the funnel, and having the advertising, the emails to my list, now we've got a shot. So getting all three of those out is what List Offer Magic does. I click a button and each of those three things gets generated as a magic board or a workflow, go through them, and the outcome is each of those three things: an offer, a funnel, and a series of emails. Now, I was curious. I was like, well, how would it work if I used the AI? And so on this last iteration, what happened was, as I looked at the steps, was like, could the AI do this? And I tested it and I typed in the prompt and I copied the prompt and I put it in and the AI went to work and it did a great job. I was like, oh, okay, that was really cool. The first thing it did was create the variables from the offer. I'd hand created the offer. I was like, this is what I want in the offer. Didn't use AI for that, but I had the offer. I put the offer in, and so I added that as a step, enter offer into ChatGPT. Then I already had the variables, the list of variables, not the variables themselves, but the list of variables required to go into the copy. And I said to it, hey, can you create these variables? And once again, it did that job really well. But I grabbed the prompt that created that and stuck it into the magic board. And then I was like, you know what? I wonder if it will take those variables and stick them into the copy template. And so I said, hey, can you please stick these variables into this copy template and paste it in the copy? And once again, it delivered. It basically went through and replaced all the variables with the ones that it had created. And now I had a copy template for the pages and the emails required for List Offer Magic that was done. Now, this was very helpful. Traditionally, what had been required was to go through and select the variable and do find and replace, and it would go through and replace all of the instances of that variable in the copy with that one word, then repeat, and there's like 15 variables. This was not a wonderful task. It was pretty boring. It was prone to problems if any of the words were changed. So let's say the variable was offer, but I had put offers and it wouldn't work. And it's like, that's frustrating, versus the AI did it all at once. And I captured the prompt, built it into the magic board so that we now had where the AI was being used. The coolest part, ChatGPT, as you probably know, you just click copy at the bottom and drop it into a Google Doc, and away I went. Now, as it goes, I was inspired in this moment. I was like, you know what? I wonder what would happen if I just said, hey, improve the copy. And once again, off it went, and it did write improve copy. Now, what happened? Well, I don't know if you found this, but ChatGPT seems to have decided that marketers are the most optimistic, most excited, most awesome people of all time. And so the copy comes out like it's written by Donald Trump. So I have to tone it down a little, but the overall outcome for the amount of effort was superb. That the prompts, these 3 prompts, create the variables from the offer, then insert the variables into the template, and then improve the copy, worked really well. Now, most people are going to stop here. They're like, yes, I've had an awesome win. But guess what? In 2 weeks' time, when I want to run List Offer Magic again, there's a problem. All of these improvements, all of these capturing these prompts are lost unless I have an easy way to update the template of where this workflow came from. Now, in Magic Boards, you can do it 2 ways. One, you can go directly to the template and make the changes, but this is not so much fun, particularly if you've made a lot of changes, then it's hard to ensure that it's accurate. And instead, what's much easier is just, hey, make a copy of the one that I improved and replace it in the library. Archive the existing one, put in the new one. Next time, all of those improvements, including all of the prompts, ready to go. So this is why having your project management and your SOPs on point is going to offer a significant strategic advantage for those that are adding in AI. And instead of sporadic, instead of random, instead of, hey, I have to remember, instead of where did that product go that had all the prompts, it's there ready to go. And next time around, There's not even the prompt creation. It's just execute, execute, execute. And next time I might go, you know what? I wonder whether it would build the offer and start to have the offer AI created within the magic board. And then the variables and the copy and the improvement happens. And then adding it in for the emails. So you can see that the underlying structure of how you do things, how you can see the work of your business makes such a difference when you're working with AI. On one side, we've got random, sporadic, and hope. And on the other, we've got systematic, tracked, and improving. It's a choice. What are you going to do? What are your team going to do? And how do you ensure that this happens consistently? Personally, I found magic boards to be the answer. It is the solution by putting the instructions with the results that we want, whether that's done by humans or done by humans and AI, we get far better results. If this is something that you're dealing with, if you're like, you know what, I just wish my team would do the work consistently, I wish they would use the AI consistently, then head over to www.magicboards.io. Hopefully you got some value from this. Hopefully you can look at where are you missing out on the opportunity for AI to improve your workflows and making sure that the final results, the end results that you're after are getting delivered. That you're not just having one piece go really fast, but making no difference to the results that you're seeing in your life, in your business, in your profitability. All right, that's all I got for you today. I hope you got a lot of value out of today's episode. If you know another business owner struggling with these issues, then share it up with them. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The Visible Workplace. See you then.
Thanks for tuning into the Visible Workplace podcast. Subscribe for more productivity tips and share with friends. We love your feedback, so please rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. For more tips and tools, visit www.magicboards.io. Thanks again, and see you next episode. Disclaimer: the information and ideas discussed in this episode are general in nature and do not take into account your specific circumstances. You should seek specialist advice for any medical, financial, emotional, mental, or other difficulties that you are facing with appropriate specialists and professionals so that they can apply your specific circumstances and give you the required advice.